Hello and welcome to SewandSo TV. My guest today is needlecraft designer Maria Diaz. Hi Maria.
Hello.
Now Maria admits that it was more luck than judgment that led her into a career as a needlecraft designer. While studying for a fine art degree, she got a part-time job working for DMC Creative World, and then when she graduated went on to become their first in-house designer. After 8 years in-house, Maria went freelance and she now designs for books and magazines worldwide. For me, it's the style and variety of Maria's work that makes it so enjoyable. It might be cute teddy bears, it might be complex floral designs. Her style is so unique and so distinctive. So I'm very pleased to welcome her today to SewandSo TV. Hi Maria, I hope I did you justice there.
It makes me sound very good.
You are very good. But what I want to know is, where did your passion for needlecraft begin?
It's not just needlecraft, it's creating. So it's like the problem solving. It's coming up with designs and images. It doesn't have to be a needlecraft craft. It's when you're doing Christmas decorations with the kids, when you're, I don't know, tidying up your living room. It's everything. It's just aesthetics.
So you do more than just needlecrafting, you do lots of other crafts too?
When I get time, and even sewing, I don't do as much sewing as I would like these days. It's computer work mostly.
Doing the actual designing, yeah.
Sketching.
So we heard that you started out with DMC. How did that actually come about?
I was studying for my degree and I needed a holiday job, and my boyfriend's mum happened to be the general manager, so they needed someone to do some silkscreen printing, and because I was doing silkscreen printing at college, I went along and did that, and one thing led to another. They needed someone to do some drawing. I did some drawing. They had computers, so I think the MD obviously saw something in me and nurtured my talents, I think. That's the way to put it. So it was good because I had the freedom to try lots of different things, and I suppose the confidence to do it, give anything a go.
I didn't realise that the embroidery designs were kind of hand printed onto the fabric. I just kind of assumed it was all factory done. So it's really interesting to learn a bit more about how they actually do that.
Yes, I don't know how it's done now. It might all be done in the Far East, I should imagine, but then it was all done in-house, so the fabric was cut and printed individually, each one.
Amazing. Yeah. So you've had a very varied career so far. What would you say your highlights are?
Highlights. I think going freelance was brilliant, because although I loved working for DMC, once you've been somewhere for quite a long time, you end up managing, and it's designing I like doing. So I like people and organising people, but when it's like a creative need to do something. So going freelance was scary, but it was good fun and a good experience, I think. And I was lucky that I got a short-term contract somewhere, which gave me a little bit of security. Seeing your name in print anytime is exciting. It's still exciting when every time your name's in a magazine, it's good. But I don't go and hang around in Smith's anymore looking at my photos or anything.
Excellent. Is that what you used to do? You hang out there whenever a new magazine comes out?
Yes, and I think there was a magazine that came out some time ago, and it was a collection, and it had my name in big letters on the front, and that was the real buzz.
Brilliant.
But you just sort of stand around like, it's me.
So that still has a buzz then, even after all these years?
Oh god, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's very exciting just seeing your name. It's like an appreciation of what you do. It's like when you meet someone who enjoys the designs that you do, or shows you something that they've stitched that you've designed. It's very slightly humbling, but really, really exciting as well. Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. So you've been in the needlecraft industry about 20 years. What are the big changes that you've seen over those years?
But I think things going from being local to being international, like this, talking online can go worldwide, you know, so it's getting emails from people all over the world, and you don't realise the sort of places that your designs get to. You know, I get emails from Russia, China, Japan, America, Australia. It's it's wild, yeah.
But you know, the actual craft must have changed a bit as well in terms of the designing, because you know, I know designers always used to work on graph paper, and now we have software that you know you can chart with. So that must have been quite a big change as well.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. I did a small course at one of the exhibitions down in London, where I was teaching people to design or chart a pattern, and I went back to how we started. So you trace something on tracing paper and then transfer it onto graph paper. It was like back to school, and I can't believe that we used to do all of them like that. And then chart old computer systems, so in where you did line at a time, symbol at a time, instead of like drawing like it is now. So what you do with graph paper, you can do on the screen now, so it makes it easier.
And that must just speed things up and actually help with the creativity as well, because you can kind of try things out without.
Well, you can change colours at the click of a button, and you're not so prone to spilling coffee on it and things like that.
But what about, you know, how you go about the design process in terms of your inspiration? So do things like, you know, iPhones and Pinterest, you know, are those things that you're using now as well?
Yeah, when I started, I used to spend a lot of time at the library, and you'd get a subject and you'd go and research that, and you'd have to go looking. And when I lived in London, like I used to go to the Victoria and Albert Museum all the time. But you can get anything you're looking for, you can get in front of you instantly now. So you're not confined to when the library's open. You can research all the time. But I see lots of things. So yeah, it's great having a camera on your phone, so you can just take pictures and you see stuff. I still like having tactile stuff, so I still collect clippings and bits of things which are all pinned up in my office.
Oh, so you have a physical pinboard instead of a virtual one?
Well, I have a virtual one as well. So, and it's nice to be able to organise things that you can do with a computer, so rather than just having it at home.
Yeah, so your relationship with DMC, you know, you started in-house, but now you're freelance, you know, you still have a really good relationship with them designing kits, don't you?
Yes.
I wanted to sort of talk a little bit about the designs that you've got in the DMC Signature collection, because they're so lovely.
Okay. Well, that's well, I think when you're a freelance designer, having a good relationship with everyone you work with is important, and maintaining it as you go along. It was lovely to be asked to come up with something like that, because I've done bits and pieces with them over the years, but to actually have a range of designs of my own is good, because it's very expensive business doing it independently.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So let's have a look at the vintage chic designs, shall we? I'm going to bring them up on screen now. So these are just so beautiful. I love the way that the kind of backstitching makes them look almost drawn, like illustration style.
Well, it was something it was a design style that I liked, and it was something I was playing with anyway. So when I was asked to sort of elaborate on this theme, it was an easy thing to do. And I do tend to draw, so I would do very rough sketches and then do all my colour work on screen when I'm actually charting it. So to keep in that drawn outline, that would be my sketch. And then I would, when charting, I'll put in the back stitching first, which is something you can do when you're charting, not something you can do when you're sewing. Yeah.
So here's a lovely design. An afternoon tea with champagne. That's definitely my kind of afternoon tea.
Yeah, that's the sort of evening you have when the kids aren't around.
And then we have this beautiful shop front. So the lovely patisserie.
The shops are fun actually to do, because it's the problem of getting something to look like a cake in a couple of stitches, or flowers, and creating a bit of depth by using half cross stitch and different shades is quite a challenge. So I like doing the shop. The boutique was a really fun one to do because it's adding depth and making the chest of drawers look further back, and so you feel like you are looking into a window rather than it just being flat.
Yeah, that is so lovely, and really actually just very inviting. I want to go inside that shop and have a look around.
Yes, it's somewhere you'd like to explore.
Definitely. And then this final one in the collection, this gorgeous poodle.
It's a food bar I'd like to have, I think. But yeah, no, it was what do you put in a bedroom, and it was nice to throw him in. It's fun.
He's really sweet. So there's also another collection, a vintage postcards, a vintage Christmas collection as well.
Yes.
That is also equally beautiful, and we can have a look at those as well. So let's just bring those up. Takes a moment. There we are. So these were all inspired by the vintage postcards, and I love the way that you've even included the stamp and the postmark on them. They're so clever.
These are different again because I've tried to eliminate some of the back stitch. So I will have drawn that in and then taken it out again and make it look old-fashioned, so a little bit more aged. It's and a Victorian style, so it's very 50s-ish, so a 50s take on a Victorian Dickens sort of Christmas theme.
Yeah, that's so clever. You really get that across, and these gorgeous snowy scenes.
Yeah, so
I absolutely love these.
Nostalgic, that's the word.
That's really interesting, though, that what you said about removing the backstitch, because now, you know, I look at those more closely, I can see that they don't have that crisp outline, which does give them that softer feel.
Yes. So you need it in certain areas to make them stand out, like on the jacket and the faces, but it again, it gives a different quality to the fabric, so it does make it softer. So using the shading to create the folds as opposed to the outline.
And yeah, and I love the idea that you could stitch those as little stitched postcards, couldn't you? And send them for your Christmas greetings. I think they are gorgeous.
Yes, it's fun. The background as well, the snow in the background. So it's creating depth. I think coming from an art training, so I look at my designs from a drawing point of view, and the stitching is the technique, so it's creating the tactileness, which is fun. But I start with a drawing, so I use the qualities of needlecraft to create a depth.
It's really beautiful. So when DMC kind of asked you to do something like this, you know, how does that come about? Do they give you a very tight brief to work to, or do they kind of give you a bit more creative free rein?
It depends. It depends on the client you're working for. So with DMC, they had an idea. They wanted Christmas designs, and they'd seen some of my other work and wanted the French feel, that nostalgia. I think it's very popular, the vintage theme at the moment. But it's nice to work with someone who has an idea, because as a designer, your job is to deliver someone else's vision, and if that coincides with your own, if they've seen something they like of your work and then want more. So I think it's like problem solving. It's as opposed to being an artist who is drawing it out of themselves. It's nice to work with someone, so you're taking what they want and trying to deliver.
Yeah, because of course, you know, they have to be designs that will appeal to a wide range of people and that will kind of be commercially successful. It's not just about art for art's sake in this case.
Yeah, and I think for kit purposes, again, you need to use a certain amount of colours. You can't have hundreds of shades. So there's size is always important. So what size something's going to be, what number of threads it's going to be, how much you can stitch and how much you can leave out. So with the vintage Christmas ones, I didn't fill it, it's not fully stitched, and along with the French sheep ones. So it's leaving out stitches and you incorporating that in the design, which makes them cost effective as well.
Yeah. So, you know, when you're in your day to day, you know, what does an average day look like for you?
Right, I don't know.
Not even such a thing.
Day to day is varied, and I think working at home is brilliant because it means I can be flexible, and I try not to work weekends, so I try and have that as family time. And Mondays tends to then be correspondence and office work, so sorting out what I'm going to do for the week, and I will look at my schedule, timetable my deadlines, and see what work I have to do and add that into my schedule. So I suppose I plan my week on a Monday, depending on how much I've got to get done that week. So it's but it's flexible, which is good. So I can do last minute things as well, which is good, because sometimes having a very short deadline for a project means your inspiration is quick, because if you have a long time you can overwork something.
Yeah. So do you tend to kind of leave it like your homework, you know, like leave it to the last minute?
It's sometimes, because some commissions are more appealing than others. So some you want to get done, and some you're like, oh no, not animal studies. They always come out looking amazing, but they're not something I ever want to sit and do until I'm doing it, and then I get drawn into them. So they're something that I always need time, I think, because there's some designs that you can just run off and some that will take a long time, whether you want them to or not.
What's the best thing about your job then? You know, what's the best part of it?
The variety, and you have a creative need, I suppose, which is why I went to art school, and every day I can fulfill that in a different quality with it. So, and you're not touting yourself, so it's being creative without exposing your soul. I don't think I'm tortured enough to be an artist or driven enough to deliver some sort of message, but it's knowing that people will enjoy what you do, so you want to give them something that's nice to look at, that's a stitching challenge, because with cross stitch it's the process of stitching it that people enjoy, not just the finished item. So it's got to weigh all of that up, I think, as well. It's fun every day. It's still fun. I still enjoy it.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And it must be lovely, you know, knowing that your work does bring pleasure to people. You know, what a nice job to have, to make people happy, really.
Yes, it is. And I've done a few private commissions that have been, again, it's very humbling to do something where someone wants you to do a design of their grandmother or something. Or I've done studies of my children. So I've been commissioned privately to do studies of other people's children or other people's loved ones, and that's always very, very humbling that somebody thinks that much of your work that they want you to do something so personal, I think.
So do you find time to do any stitching yourself, or are you just too busy these days?
Not a lot. I like making stuff, so it's fun. So you know, for Christmas, for Halloween, for parties, you make decorations. And I think having reasonably young children, they always, let's make something, you know, when it's raining. And my youngest boy, Hudson, is very creative. He wants to learn to chart. He wants to chart his own cross-stitch picture. I think he sees me doing it all the time. So he wants to learn to do that, and he.
So, you know, watch out. We could have the next generation of DMC designers right there.
I hope so.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it? So, you know, I just wanted to kind of wrap up with, you know, what haven't you done yet in your career that you still really want to go and achieve? You know, what's on your career bucket list, if you like?
I don't know. It's difficult, I think, because you sort of embrace whatever comes along. This was something I didn't think I'd be doing, and now I'm interviewed live. It's I think sometimes it's good to not think too far ahead. I don't know. I don't know what else there is to come. I think it's lovely to have the freedom to do things. I don't know.
See what comes along, and yeah, how about, you know, a royal commission or something like that? Would be fun, wouldn't it?
But it would be fantastic. Yes.
Frightening, but fantastic.
Yeah. No. It's great working with different people. So I do publish books with a Turkish publisher. I've got magazines with people in the UK, and then I have commissions. People will get in touch with me internationally to do things because they've seen my work somewhere and can you do it? I did for a Danish needlework school. I've done something recently, and so it's interesting to take on different things,
try new things, and reach further and further afield, and reach a wider audience.
Yeah, I think it's talking to different people as well, because that reinvigorates your own work. So when you actually speak to someone else and see what they're doing, it's quite good fun to then think what you can take from it.
Brilliant. Well, you know, thank you so much for taking time to come and talk to us today. Really interesting hearing about you and your career, and lots of insights there. So thanks very much, and you know, we'll looking forward to seeing what's coming next.
Me too.
Thanks, Maria. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.